Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Last week you guys saw us exploring the beautiful Hocking Hills State Park here in Ohio. And this week we have something a little bit different planned. What are we doing, babe?
Something a little odd.
A little odd indeed.
Some may say. We have found a collection of very strange and unusual things in Ohio that we are going to go visit today.
The Big Muskie. The world's smallest Kroger. The Morgan County Dungeon. The Mound Cemetery. It's a lot of odd stuff because Ohio itself is kind of odd. Some are made of metal, some are made of bodies, some are made of brick and mortar. So we're going to see a lot of stuff today and enjoy the oddities of Ohio. Well, to start our Oddities Day, we have driven a few minutes down the road from our Airbnb, just shy of McConnellsville, Ohio, to visit the Big Muskie Bucket.
The Big Muskie.
Candace, what is the Big Muskie Bucket?
Why are you asking me?
Because I like to see you strumble.
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 Well, it's a big bucket. It was used in mining.
Drag mining, specifically.
It was built in Zanesville,
which is right up the road.
about half an hour away, in 1969.
And it was used every single day, 24/7, 364. They took a day off for Christmas. From 1971, when it was finished being built, until 1991, when it was stopped being used. I started reading about why they stopped using it. It got a little political. Some like EPA stuff, so I'm not going to talk about that because we don't get political on this channel. But it is and was the world's largest dragline mining bucket.
It's quite large.
It's really, really big.
That's it right there.
Yeah, that's the giant thing. 1 year as a promotional stunt, they parked a D9 bulldozer inside of it. The next year they parked 5 pickup trucks side by side. And the final year is kind of funny. They put the entire marching band for the area, the high school marching band, performed inside the bucket one time, which that's really, really funny. So, yeah, this is at the Miners Memorial Park. You know, I never really thought about mining in Ohio, but being that we're in southeastern Ohio, it is super mountainous, so.
Very close to West Virginia.
But yeah, we are here to see the Muskie Bucket, and seeing the Muskie Bucket we are. Let's see if it's strong enough to hold Riley Girl inside the bucket. The bucket weighs an astonishing 480,000 pounds or 217,000 kilograms. With each scoop, it could move more than 220 cubic yards or 170 cubic meters. During its 22 years of service, the Big Muskie removed more than twice the amount of earth as the construction of the Panama Canal. I am standing in the Muskie Bucket. Sorry, the sun is right in my eyes. And I read on the sign over there that every hour it could move 39 million pounds of material. And it could get a scoop full of material and dump it about once every minute, which is crazy. This thing is massive. It's crazy. Well, we have moved on from the Muskie Bucket and we have gone from a super big attraction to a teeny tiny attraction. The three of us have traveled to McConnellsville, Ohio, see if I can get it in the frame there, to the world's smallest Kroger. That's right, folks. These are the types of things that Ohio has to offer. If you don't know anything about Kroger, it is a grocery store that opened in 1883, so it's been around for quite some time. So this one is not quite as old as the original Kroger is.
This one was actually opened in 1968.
And before it was a Kroger, it was actually a Chevrolet dealership, which is why I think the front is mostly windows, because it kind of looks like an old showroom. And boy, is it narrow. It's small.
Yeah.
It's tiny. It's compact. They had 2 registers and 2 self-checkouts.
I think there were 5 aisles. Yeah. Pretty small.
Yeah, but they seem to have a lot of stuff. They even had like the online Kroger pickup order where you could order it online, pull up here, they'll load it into your car. I kind of didn't think they would do that. What is weird is they only sell miniature items. There's not a single like regular size item in the entire store.
And they all come in this little miniature Kroger bag.
A mini bag for your mini groceries. Candace, what do we find in the mini grocery store?
Well, let's see. We got a mini Dr. Pepper here. We got a little mini bag of peanut butter pretzels. Some mini M&Ms.
They didn't sell anything larger.
Mini mustard.
That's as big as it gets.
And last but not least, a mini Chef Boyardee mini ravioli.
Double mini.
Micro ravioli, actually, is what it's called. Micro ravioli.
It's as small as it gets. We're joking. Yeah. They sell regular stuff. That's not even the bag from this store.
We actually already had this little mini bag.
we carry like reusable grocery bags, and for some reason that's one of the ones that we carry. But yeah, they had pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I mean, not everything.
No, but I was actually surprised by the selection of stuff they had. I thought it was going to be more like a convenience store, but they had a lot of
full produce.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. So yeah, if you're ever in McConnellsville, Ohio, check out the smallest Kroger in the entire world. So from here, we are driving just across the river to the small town of Malta, Ohio, to visit
dungeon.
Dungeon. It was actually a dungeon that was forgot about and nobody knew that existed until like the 1960s or 70s, where they were doing some construction and they did found a dungeon. So we're gonna head over there and hopefully not get locked in.
We're gonna lock Riley inside because she won't stop whining.
I'm in the dungeon. This might surprise some of you, but this is actually my first time incarcerated. At least that I'm allowed to talk about legally, but wow. This is small. I don't think this is all of it. Oh, can't shoot the angle that way. I think it was a little bigger than this originally, but this is all there is left. It's crazy that they found this while they were trying to build the new sheriff's department. It's just, they found the dungeon. This is not where I would want to spend a lot of my time. It's also not a lot of stuff to do here, so that is going to wrap up our tour for the Morgan County Dungeon.
We have made it to Marietta, Ohio, which is right on the border of West Virginia, and we are at our next unusual stop at the Mound Cemetery.
So we were researching things to do in Ohio, and that's when we realized that there are a lot of Native American burial mounds in Ohio. Now, funnily enough, most of them are nowhere near where we're staying. But we found, oh, that's cool, perfect on the camera. This is random. We got a new camera. So for the first time ever, we can actually see ourselves while we're filming, and I'm able to frame the shot. So I just got distracted by my hand coming into the frame. So yeah, there's actually 3 Native American mounds here in the town of Marietta. Now the first one that we're gonna go to is in Mound Cemetery, like Candace said. That one is one of the best preserved. There's another one that's in another park that is partially preserved. It's very large. The third one is actually currently underneath the county library.
That sounds like a good idea.
That one was ceremonial. The one in the other park is ceremonial, but this one here in the cemetery is actually a burial mound, which is pretty cool. If you guys saw our Ireland videos, we got to visit some burial mounds Brunabanya that was like 4,000 years old. So this one is about half that age. The construction is estimated to be done in 100 BCE to 500 CE. Just somewhere in that range, so like 2,000 years old.
Something else that we found out really interesting about this cemetery in particular is that it is estimated that more Revolutionary soldiers are buried here than anywhere else, so that's pretty cool. We got a map at the entrance that tells you, I think, where some different people are buried, so you can actually go up and find their actual gravestones.
So we're gonna go in one at a time, check out the mound here in the cemetery, and then from here, we'll go check out the other two mounds. Mound Cemetery is a historic cemetery developed around the base of a prehistoric Adena burial mound known as the Great Mound or Conus. The conical Great Mound is a part of an Ohio Hopewell culture mound complex known as the Marietta Earthworks. The Hopewell culture describes a network of pre-contact Native American cultures that flourished in settlements along rivers in the northeastern and midwestern eastern woodlands from 100 BCE to 500 CE. The earthwork complex includes the Sacred Via, meaning sacred way, three-walled enclosure, which is no longer standing, the Quadranaou, Capitolem, meaning capital, at least two other additional platform mounds, and the Conus burial mound with its accompanying ditch and embankment. So I am standing on top of the mound at Mound Cemetery here. I didn't realize that you could climb it. I think it's really neat that you can. Something I found really incredible is that they decided to build the Marietta Cemetery around this mound in 1801 or so because they wanted to make sure that nobody would ever destroy it and disturb it, and they figured if they built a cemetery around it that it was going to be safe for generations. Here it is a couple hundred years later after it was discovered, and it is still intact, so that's really cool.
The city of Marietta was developed in 1788 by pioneers from Massachusetts, soon after the American Revolutionary War and organization of the Northwest Territory. Many of the founders were officers of the Revolutionary War who had received federal land grants for military services. Although many people say the cemetery has more Revolutionary War officers buried here than anywhere else, there is no actual proof that this is true. There are, however, over 85 soldiers from the American Revolutionary War that are either buried here or whose remains were never recovered and were honorarily buried.
The property of the Capitolem Mound was leased to the Washington County Library in 1915 and has been home to the library since it was first built in 1918. There have been several archaeological digs at this mound confirming its construction and design by the Hopewell people.
Historical surveys show the Quadranaou Mound was originally 188 feet long and 132 feet wide. This type of elevated mound was most commonly used for ceremonies and may have represented the location of a previously built ritual structure.
As you can see, we are back at our cabin. We wanted to end our oddities video with perhaps the oddest thing about Ohio, and that is their state flag. It is the only state flag in the entire country that is not a rectangle. That's right, it is a pennant shaped, which is weird. They have to be different all the time. There's obviously way more odd stuff to see in Ohio. If you guys are ever coming through, literally Google odd, Ohio, and where you're gonna be, and there's just something kind of weird. We almost went to a 65-foot horseshoe crab, but it was just a little bit too far for us to drive to, so just weird stuff like that.
So that is actually going to wrap up our short Ohio series. We hope you really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed our time here. Next time you see us, we will maybe be in the state of Pennsylvania.
That's what we're shooting for.
We have nothing booked yet, so no. I'm not completely positive, but I think that is where we might probably be. So as always,
we'll see y'all somewhere. And it could get a scoop full of. Wait for this truck to go by. This video is sponsored by Dodge. Dodge trucks, more DUIs than any other truck on the market. I as you can hear.
Someone's about to get one right now. I was like, why is it black?
Thanks for watching Riley Roams. Click subscribe to keep up with all of our latest travels, and don't forget to click that like button too.